So in this video we are going to deal with the embryo development. So in the last video we dealt with the development of endosperm. So now which is followed by the embryo development. So now we are going to learn about embryo development. So here the embryo actually mainly develops at the micropylar end. That is the embryo develops at the embryo sac, which is the in the embryo sac it is developing at a particular place. If you wanted to mention the place, we tell it as micropylar end of the embryo sac. So the embryo develops inside the embryo sac, but the position of the place where the embryo develops is the micropylar end. So at this is where the zygote is located. So the location of the zygote is also inside the embryo sac. So inside the embryo sac, the zygote is also present. Most of the zygotes, we know that the zygote divides. So here it's if the division has to perform, if the zygote has to divide, a particular or a certain amount of endosperm has to be formed. So only when a certain amount of endosperm is formed, the zygote starts dividing. So here the embryo develops inside the embryo sac, that is at the micropylar end of the embryo sac, where the zygote is located. So this zygote starts dividing only after a particular amount or a necessary amount of endosperm has been formed. So why this necessary amount of endosperm is formed? So for what case or for what need is this formed? This is formed because actually this adaptation of zygote dividing only after a particular amount of endosperm is because to provide proper or assured nutrition for the developing embryo. So when this embryo gets developed, the zygote this division of zygote is also very necessary. So when the endosperm is formed, when the need of certain amount of endosperm is formed, this zygote divides. So the division of this zygotes helps or assures us with the proper supply of nutrients for this developing embryo, which is developing inside the embryo sac at the micropylar end of the embryo sac. So we know that the seeds differ very different. So the appearance or the innate qualities of the seeds differ very greatly, but still then when we take the early stages of embryo development, so when we take this process, that is this development of embryo, when we take this process, that is the early stage, it is both similar in monocotyledons and dicotyledons. That is, there is no much difference in the development of embryo in monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So this embryo development we can tell it as embryogeny. So we can tell it as embryogeny. So here, so there are particular stages that develops the embryo of the dicotyledonous and monocotyledons, but this early stages in dicotyledons and monocotyledons are similar. So here the zygote gives rise to the proembryo, then it gives globular, then heart-shaped, then the mature embryo. So if you look at the diagram, so this is the diagram of an dicot one. So here the zygote develops into a globular embryo, and then the heart-shaped embryo, and finally the matured embryo. So the look at this diagram once. So here the zygote develops into globular, heart-shaped, and then finally the matured embryo. So again the monocotyledons and dicotyledons have a similar stage of, that is have a very similar stage of embryo development, and the zygote division or depends upon the amount of endosperm, that is a particular amount of endosperm has to be formed because it can produce proper nutrition or assured nutrition for the developing embryo, which is developing inside the micropylar end of the embryo sac. So now when we take the embryo of dicotyledonous, so if we take a dicotyledonous embryo, it consists of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. So the dicotyledonous embryo consists of embryonal axis and two cotyledons. So when we take there is a portion when they above the level of cotyledons, when the area which is the embryonal axis which is above the level of cotyledons, we call it as epicotyl, whereas the cylindrical area that is below the level of cotyledons, we call it as hypocotyl. So the portion which is above the level of cotyledons and below the level of cotyledons, that is the embryonal axis is in the above the in the level which is above the cotyledons, and there is an area, cylindrical area, which is below the level of cotyledons. So this we call it as hypocotyl, and which is above the level of cotyledons we call it as epicotyl. So here the epicotyl terminates with the plumule or stem tip. So this epicotyl terminates with the plumule or stem tip, whereas this hypocotyl terminates with at its lower ends with the root tip or radicle. So with the root tip or radicle, this terminates at its lower end. So here the dicotyledonous embryo consists of two things, that is one embryonal axis and two cotyledons. So the level of cotyledons above, that is the embryonal axis, it is called as epicotyl, whereas the lower level of the cotyledons, that is the cylindrical area present, we call it as hypocotyl. So the epicotyl terminates with the plumule or stem, whereas the hypocotyl terminates at its lower end. So this is the hypocotyl terminates at its lower end with the radicle or root cap. So this root cap or root tip is covered by the root cap. So we told that root cap, now the root tip is covered by the root cap. So this is the diagram of the typical diagram of a dicot embryo. So this region is the plumule, and here it is two cotyledons and a hypocotyl. So the base of at its lower ends, the radicle is there, where this area is the root tip, or we tell it as radicle, right? So it is covered or it is protected by the root cap. So in order to protect from certain or to protect it from certain circumstances, this root cap is present. So plumule, the location of two cotyledons, and hypocotyl, the radicle and root cap. So this is the typical structure of dicotyledonous embryo. So now the embryos of monocotyledons. So when we take the embryos of monocotyledons, it does not have an embryonal axis or two cotyledons as dicot plants, but it has only one cotyledon. So the embryos of monocotyledons possess only one cotyledon. So here it is in a grass family, we call this cotyledon as scutellum. So this cotyledon in the grass family, we call it as scutellum, which is located at the lateral side, that is towards one side of the, or we can tell it as lateral side of the embryonal axis. So to the lateral side of the embryonal axis, this scutellum is present. So now we can see about the LS of an embryo of grass. So this is the diagram or the diagrammatic representation of the LS of an grass. So here it is the scutellum and two coleoptile, the region of this and this, and the shoot. Here it is the epiblast. Here comes a radicle, root cap, and coleorhiza. So this is the entire diagram, that is the LS of an embryo of grass. So when we take this, where the lateral side is we call it as that is a scutellum is present. When we take the lower side, it consists of, as we saw in the diagram, it consists of radicle and root cap. So this is enclosed enclosed by an undifferentiated sheath. So this undifferentiated sheath, we call it as coleorhiza. So this undifferentiated sheath is called as coleorhiza. So here the that is this cotyledon, the lateral side of the embryonal axis in a grass family we call it as scutellum, whereas the lower end consists of the embryonal axis of the lower end consists of radicle or root cap, and it is enclosed by an undifferentiated sheath which we call it as coleorhiza. So the position of when we take the portion of the embryonal axis that is above the level of attachment of the scutellum, we call it as epicotyl. Here the portion which is above the level of attachment of scutellum, that is a portion of embryonal axis but which is above the level of attachment of scutellum, we call it as epicotyl. So the epicotyl has a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia. So this is enclosed in a hollow foliar structure which we call it as coleoptile. So this is the structure and the explanation of the embryos of monocotyledons. So in the further video we will deal with the topic seed. Thank you.